So what I'd like to say is that zero allocation to the space is the wrong answer.
Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. In today's video, we have some absolute banger panel discussions for you guys, showing some perspectives from some industry-leading experts that will confirm certain things that are going on behind the scenes in the digital asset ecosystem that the mainstream media is never going to portray to you all, because the mainstream media is always fixated on pumping out fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? So with that being said, in today's video breakdown, we are going to confirm that there is a massive restructuring of the financial system right now as we speak, that we are still in the early days of this mass transformation, and that those individuals that take it upon themselves to decide to sit on the sidelines or not get involved in this digital asset landscape will most likely be the ones that get left behind. Again, we're going to play some perspectives from some industry leading experts throughout the entirety of this video breakdown. So make sure that you stick around for the entirety of it. We do appreciate the love and the support. If you're watching this as a recording, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform. Don't forget that we just dropped the CYPRX Crypto Research Lab Twitter, where we're going to be releasing our daily and weekly fundamental posts that we share in the CYPRX Discord via our reports to our private community. You guys are going to be able to read those on the X space. So make sure that you guys go tap in. I reposted the Twitter profile. It's CYPRX Research Labs. Go check that out and give it a follow. We do appreciate the love and support. Let's jump in. So I want to kick off today's video with an absolute banger. We're going to start today by listening to the CEO, and founder of Menya, hopefully I'm pronouncing this correctly, Financial Group. And we're going to jump into what this is. All right. So we're going to listen to this lady right here. Her name is Zoe Cruz. We're going to just take a look real fast at her credentials so that way you guys understand that she is an individual that works or has worked in a regulated industry and environment for pretty much the entirety of her career. You can see as of time of recording this video, she is the founder and the CEO of the Menya Financial Group. Again, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. We'll get into what this is in just one second. She was a member in the board of directors on Ripple. Interestingly enough, she was also a senior advisor at IBM and a co-president at Morgan Stanley. So I'd say that her perspective is, at the end of the day, somewhat to be listening to or be paying attention to. Now, I did a little bit of digging and I was trying to find out who has regulated Menya Finance, so Menya Financial Group. And you can see right here, I typed this into Perplexity. Is Menya Financial Group regulated by the SEC? And it says right here, Menya Asset Management LLC which is part of Menya Financial Group, is registered as an exempt reporting investment advisor under the Investment Advisors Act of 1940. This indicates that Menya Asset Management LLC is regulated by the SEC to some degree as an investment advisor. So while I'm playing this first video clip to you guys, all right, I want you all to take into consideration what it is that I'm showing you all. This is massive. The fact that the CEO of this organization is saying things like this on stage. And she goes on to talk about how having 0% of your portfolio allocated to the digital asset space is a no-go. It's not something that financial institutions should be doing. And then she gives, from her perspective, the percentage that financial institutions should have allocated to this space. So again, remember, throughout the entirety of today's video breakdown, we're going to be sharing perspectives from industry-leading experts talking about how there is, for a fact, an ongoing restructuring of our financial system, so that way we can confirm that a digital transformation is happening and unfolding at a rapid pace. And then we're going to jump into video breakdowns of multiple industry-leading experts talking about how we are early in this space, so that way you all don't think that you're missing out now by participating. And then we're going to get into some video clips of, again, industry-leading experts sharing the same perspective, that people or institutions or large organizations that don't get involved will inevitably be left behind. So let's take a second and let's listen to this individual, Zoe Cruz. Let's just listen to what she says here.
I think digital assets do have some non-correlated returns in a portfolio. And from your perspective, what is the appropriate level of allocation that institutional investors should consider when they're looking at bringing digital assets into a portfolio?
So what I'd like to say is that zero allocation to the space is the wrong answer. More than 2 to 10%, 10% if you can't stand it, if you're not all in on the space, is also the wrong answer. This is a nascent asset class. It is risky, but what has us all excited about the space is the asymmetry of risk reward. So as long as the risk is mark-to-market loss, permanent loss you don't come back from. So FTX, if you had all your money on that exchange, you lost it. Although actually a parenthesis, in my decades in the market, I have never seen a company coming out actually of Chapter 7, liquidation, not Chapter 11.
So I'll leave it right there. I don't want to elongate the video, but she says, again, an individual who is the CEO of an organization that is registered with the SEC, that having 0% allocation to this space is, it doesn't make any sense. Okay. So that's coming from a perspective via an industry leading expert that has credentials in this space in the regulated industry. Okay. She worked at Morgan Stanley. She was a board member at Ripple. She was a head or a leader at IBM. Okay. Just take that into consideration moving forward, that this is the type of perspective that the mainstream media is never going to share with you. And this was just uploaded just a couple of weeks ago on June 7th, 2024, and only has 635 views. Now let's roll over into how they are restructuring the financial system. I want you guys to hear perspectives from some of these industry leading experts. Don't take it from me. Take it from these individuals that have many more credentials than myself, confirming and telling you all that there is a massive ongoing transformation of the financial system.
Communication company become your...
Well, let's slow these videos down. Sorry, I watched them on like 1.75 speed.
Financial service provider. So we've seen changes in the ecosystem as well. But one thing that is clear is that what is happening now is an evolution and the continuance of looking for better financial services, better financial products. And the question that we're having now is, how do we continue to use modern technologies to make that more efficient, to address some of the gaps and some of the problems that maybe the first generation, the second or third generation did not particularly address, or capabilities did not exist then. And as research and development has continued, finding new ways of addressing pain points and challenges and making money move in a more efficient way, in a faster way, and now, of course, in a cost-effective way, is what we're seeing, especially in emerging markets.
Right. So she's just talking about the ongoing digital transformation and how there is an evolution happening behind the scenes in our financial industry. This is Carmel Cadet. She is the Chief Executive Officer at EMTech. Let's move on. Let's play another video breakdown. I'm not going to continue to say this in between the videos. I'm just going to roll all the ones where they're talking about the restructuring of the financial system. We have another video breakdown here from the same Atlantic Council that was uploaded just a couple of months ago, of another industry leading expert mentioned similar to the same exact thing. And that's what I want you guys to see, is that these are the perspectives that the mainstream will never put on CNBC, Fox News, Bloomberg, whatever. They're constantly pumping out fear, uncertainty, and doubt, shaking you out of your positions, when in reality, all the people that are actually, working behind the scenes to transform the financial system are the ones telling you all that you should be bullish, that we are early, and that if you don't get involved, you will get left behind. So let's listen to this individual here.
Oh, fantastic. Really appreciate those insights. Miguel, can you finish kicking us off with this discussion? Why are we here?
I'll take you from the specific to the general, in increasing generality. But let me start with this. I think it's fundamental to discuss that we're living in an exponential evolution of technology era, right? And this implies that the digital realm is touching our everyday lives ever more. And when we thought about financial exclusion in the past, we could thought that it was bad because people would not get access to financial services. But if we think in financial exclusion right now, we can actually keep people out of society. So that is something that modern societies would not want to see. Now, given this situation, we have to see what our financial market infrastructures look like today in terms of the capabilities of processing transactions, in terms of the capability of producing different business cases and functionalities on a production scale that can serve this very big demand that is coming due to this digitalization process. And we can realize immediately that we need new financial market infrastructure. So Tony mentioned it in the last panel, and I think he's right on spot, that we need to rethink how things work in the back end. Now, tokenization is just one.
Right. So this is Miguel Diaz. He is the center head of BIS Innovation Hub for the Bank of International Settlements. And he is again confirming that they are in the process of rethinking and re-architecting the financial system. So the reason why I've played these couple of video clips is to show you guys that there is a common perspective. And the common perspective right now is that there is a massive ongoing digital transformation happening in all sectors across the globe, not only in the financial sector, but in telecommunications and just as a whole, right? I don't want to go and get into the nitty gritty. What I'm trying to show you guys is that these are perspectives from people that are actually working on this transformation, telling you all straight to your face. But yet again, this video, 424 views, is a perspective that the mainstream media will never see. Okay. So, you know, at the end of the day, these are all people with high-end jobs, high-end, you know, organizations. They're sitting at the top of the totem pole. They're the ones making the decisions, and they're the ones telling you guys that 0% allocation to the space is, you know, it's idiotic. It's not smart to be sidelined at this moment in time. Okay, moving on. Let's jump into another video breakdown. This is going to be an individual. Give me a second. I'll tell you who he is. I want you guys to know who these people are. We have Alexander Bant. He is the Chief of Research for Finance at Gartner. Now, if you don't know who Gartner is, just go take a look and do some digging on, you know, who this organization is. But they are a very large organization at the end of the day. So I'd say that this perspective is extremely important. And listen to what he mentions again about how this is all happening at a rapid pace, and that these individuals, these organizations will have to migrate. They will have to change and adapt.
Of data, not just you picking a technology to save time and make something more efficient. We predict that the cost of finance will come down significantly, nearly 40% in the coming years. That will force CFOs and their leadership teams to reorganize the core functions of finance, which will force many organizations to integrate with the rest of the organization and rethink the way that work gets done.
So the reason why I played that video clip is because I want you all to understand the perspective of the fact that if these organizations don't adapt to this new transformative wave of technological innovation, they will get left behind. They will not remain competitive. So what do you think, as manual retail investors, you all should be participating in, at least at a minimum, getting educated on this digital transformation, whether that's you pick up an interest in artificial intelligence, Web3, DeFi, crypto, stablecoins. At the end of the day, educate yourself and embed yourself into this digital transformation in some way, shape, or form, even if you're not going to invest. So that way you are at a minimum educated on what's happening, because these large organizations are for a fact. And if they don't, right, if Bank of America is saving 40% on whatever it is via their back-end infrastructure, but Wells Fargo isn't, Wells Fargo is going to fall behind. So inevitably, Wells Fargo will also adapt to the changing time. And it will create a spiral effect amongst all these large organizations and companies. It's already unfolding and happening at a rapid pace, but will only continue to accelerate as more and more organizations and businesses adopt these new technological innovations, whether that's blockchain, stablecoins, CBDCs, AI, data analytics, digital identities, carbon credits, whatever it is, whatever floats your boat. Just do research on what's taking place, because it is such a profound transformation. And to sideline yourself and miss out on this life-changing opportunity to invest in organizations that are most likely going to survive long-term based off of their partnerships, their regulatory compliance, and their, you know, developments that are happening and unfolding at a rapid pace, it's stupid. It's stupid to think that this is conspiracy or that this is not happening. So yet again, another perspective from a major market participant. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Let's move on. Let's head into another video clip. Sorry, as I transition through this. Okay, so this is going to be Joachim. Oh, geez, Louise, I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Joachim Sherman and Mark Hennings. They're sitting on a panel discussion, the Frankfurt School Blockchain Center. This is just from 5 months ago. So the beginning of the year, digital euro landscape status update. And listen to what this individual says about how these organizations are preparing for these new digital technologies. This just confirms, again, sitting on such a high-end panel, that organizations all around the world are for a fact preparing for this technological transformation.
And I do speak to market participants who kind of expect that the solutions will still be there in the future in this exact way. They kind of expect that a trigger solution, a hash link contract, or an on-chain, these things will exist in the future, and they're preparing for payments using these technologies. And that is, I think, something that is really right in front of us right now. We can learn what will be the most promising, what will be the best, the most integratable solution in the domain of delivery versus payment for digital assets, and not just in Germany, all over.
Right, so I'll end it there. Again, long story short, I'm just attempting to short clip videos showing you guys that this is not my perspective. This is not the CYPRX perspective. This is coming from people that are sitting at the top of the totem pole. He literally just told you guys that this opportunity is happening right now, right in front of us, and that these organizations, he said, he speaks to market participants, and they are all preparing to start to integrate these new technologies. Okay, that in a nutshell. Depending on what your favorite niche is or what it is that you're interested in investing in or doing research on is up to you. My objective here is just to show you guys that this is for a fact happening. So that way you can block and shut out all the naysayers, dial in and focus on the opportunities in the now instead of all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Every single time the market drops a couple $2 billion, getting shaken out of your positions, you understand the long-term perspectives and the perspectives of the people that actually matter. None of these people right now or in previous market downturns were on Twitter fudding everybody out, telling everybody that crypto is going to go away or that you shouldn't be investing. They're telling you guys the complete opposite. And these are the people's opinions that actually matter, right? Because they're the ones actually working on the back-end infrastructure to integrate institutions into this digital asset space. Not like, you know, the little Twitter average naysayer that's telling you guys, oh my gosh, XRP is a scam because it hasn't moved in months, blah, 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 right? Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get you guys to see. Let's play another video clip. This is going to be the last video clip for the restructuring section of this video portion, where all of the perspectives from multiple people that I've played so far are confirming that there is for a fact a transformation unfolding at a rapid pace, and that you all, at the end of the day, to some extent, whether that's through investments or through education, should be involved. Now we're going to listen to the Chainlink co-founder, Sergey, however you pronounce that name. And from what he says here, he confirms that multiple banks and large organizations now, for the first time ever, have team members, have compliance members, have regulatory compliance teams, all in an order to embed and transition to this new digital way of doing things. So let's listen to what he has to say here. Give me a second. Let's find where he starts.
Banking sector and the buy-side asset management sector participating in the creation and the distribution of assets that are not cryptocurrencies, in the sense that I could make a cryptocurrency about a light bulb and it's not related to the light bulb. It's just called light bulb coin, and it's about great ideas, and like we all buy and sell it, and it has like a price that just is arrived at irrespective of any real world value. That's what many and most cryptocurrencies are. Real world assets are tokens, tokenizations, on-chain tokens. So in that sense, they're similar to cryptocurrencies, but it's dissimilar in the sense that there's an underlying asset. The underlying asset could be a carbon credit, a private equity fund, a piece of real estate, a money market account, treasury, whatever. Everything from core infrastructure, core financial stuff to assets at the edges. This is the big trend now driving institutional adoption of blockchain technology. And they don't call it cryptocurrencies, they call it digital assets. And so this digital assets trend is in a whole other stage now from even 2 years ago, because 2 years ago, you didn't have dedicated teams. Now most banks have dedicated digital asset team leaders, engineering leaders, product management leaders, and basically those teams are tasked with making progress. 2 years ago, you would be working, 3 years ago, you'd be working with people in the innovation group of a bank, which is primarily tasked with generating experiments. But now you have dedicated teams. Some banks have teams of over 100 people. On the digital asset side, it's exclusively their job to generate these things. This is the thing I think. This, in addition.
So the reason why I played this video clip is because, again, do you really think that if crypto was a scam, or that if digital assets, stablecoins, whatever the case may be, is going to go away, that these large banks would have teams with over 100 members, according to this individual, dedicated to the progression of integrating this into their core infrastructure? I think not, which is yet again why I'm playing video clips for you guys like this as my followers. I want you to see perspectives. This video in particular has 92 views. Why do videos like this not have thousands of views? It's because this type of information is subdued from the mainstream media, and instead the mainstream just pumps out fear, uncertainty, and doubt every single time that there's a market downturn or a little tiny shakeout or a turnaround in perspectives to get you out of crypto, because these large participants, these people with much more money than you and I, sitting at the top of the totem pole, they know where the future projection of this digital asset landscape is headed. Long term, this market, looking back 5-10 years from now, will look like a hockey stick. I can say that with 110% confidence. Now, which digital assets, again, and which projects are going to survive long term, that is up for debate. Do your own personal research. I do my own. But bottom line is, you do not want to find yourself sidelined in a moment in history like this, whether that's through investments or through education. You want to remain proactive at the forefront of this digital transformation. So let's transition. Now let's confirm through some other perspectives. I'm going to stop introducing these people to you all to save time. At the end of the day, they all work for large organizations. They sit at the head of these regulatory compliant organizations, or are in regulatory compliant organizations themselves. They are all perspectives from these people that are transforming the financial system. Now, the next set of video clips that we're going to play are all of these representatives confirming that we are early. It's about 4 to 5 video clips, and all of the panel discussions that I'm going to play, there are barely 100, 200 views in each of these videos. Think about that, because when you say stuff like, oh, we're early on Twitter, or, oh, we're early on YouTube, people don't want to hear that. But zooming out, looking at this industry as a whole, we are extremely early. We're only sitting at what, $2.1 trillion in total market valuation today. That, compared to the financial system and the amount of real world assets that are out there waiting and ready to be tokenized and, you know, migrated onto the blockchain, onto public blockchains at that, is enormous. And when you see that, hearing these perspectives hopefully keeps you forward looking, even if we do witness or experience another short-term market downturn, so that way you guys can survive long term. So let's just listen to some of these perspectives from multiple individuals confirm that we are early. We're first going to play a video clip from a channel that I watch quite frequently, albeit they're not always accurate, but still they deliver some good insights. It's Raul Paul on his YouTube, and he mentions the same thing. And I just want to capitalize on how he said this, but then other industry leading experts have said the same thing, that we are early. So take a second and let's listen.
You know, sharp sell-offs. Very normal to see a 35% correction in a crypto bull market. But spring is just the start. We've got summer to go, and even into fall when the weather's still good before things turn again. So we've got a couple of years ahead of us of life-changing opportunities in one of the biggest macro trends of all time. And what's great is how people still don't yet get it. And they don't yet believe in it. And they don't yet understand it. And that means we get to be first. Even if you're the class of 2012 like me, or you're the class of 2023, you will still be early. And the opportunity is ahead. This is what Dan and I think is the big macro bet. Maybe.
Right. So he mentions that we are early. So let's continue this trend and let's listen to some other perspectives from this, you know, industry leading experts that, in my opinion, have many more credentials than him himself, than Rob Paul himself, say the same exact thing. This next panel discussion is an individual representative from Swift who literally mentions that the takeoff has not happened yet. And this is from only 6 months ago and has 538 views. Let's just see if this individual's name is in the bottom description here. Nick Kerrigan, he is the head of innovation at Swift. This gentleman right here on my left, I believe it'll be your right if you're watching this inversely. I don't know how it dictates that, but yeah. So listen to what he says here. Take a second.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we're still at that stage, right, with EBLs where we're sort of, you know, getting towards takeoff, right? We've got about, as you said, you've now got 30,000 a month, but we're still only about 2%, right? So there's still quite a long way to go. Is there anything else, you know, you think there are key factors to unlock?
Right, plain and simple, straight to the point. He mentioned that we are still at the point right before takeoff. Take that into consideration. How much money out there is in the world, how much money is about to be tokenized, how many assets are about to be tokenized, and just how massive of an opportunity this is to be at the forefront of this technological transformation. Here is another video clip of an individual representative. I'm not going to try to find this guy's name because it's like a long list, but this is a video clip that was only streamed 4 months ago, titled The Future of Money Governance and Law 2024. And this is posted by the Government Blockchain Association. Listen to what this gentleman says about how early we are, and he gives out some numbers. He talks about the user adoption of blockchain technology right now only being in the thousands, and that in the near future, every single month, there will be millions of users per month on blockchain. Listen to what he says here.
All right, so.
And by the way, I apologize. He kind of speaks a little bit far away from the microphone, so it might be a little bit hard to hear.
One, you really should, to understand how big and how fast growing the market is for blockchain technology. But their recent report, as of December 2022, and I actually know what the updated number is, but there's 23,343 monthly active blockchain developers based on a growth model from 2017 to 2022. But this next part is really the most important fact. This number is projected to reach 1 million active monthly blockchain developers in 7 years. So if you think that you're coming into this late, you're not. We're going to have essentially a 77-time growth rate over the next 7 years. And here you are at the beginning, literally at the beginning.
Did you all just hear that? He literally just confirmed on stage at the Future of Money conference that we are early and that there is the potential for a 77x growth rate between now and 2030. That's massive. Could you imagine? And I'm just taking, you know, in the perspective, if the total cryptocurrency market cap right now did a 77x, that would be insane. And you, again, are at the forefront of this for those individuals that understand where this is all going, that do research on utility-driven assets, and that build your bags, or at least at a minimum, educate yourself now, so that way you're not being left behind. Okay, let's roll into another video clip. Give me a second. Let me just touch base on where I'm at, because I got a long list of all these video clips for you guys. So that one was 240. Let's get into this one here. This is Danielle Dixon. She is the CEO of the Stellar Development Foundation. This is a video clip, tokenization, taking tokenization mainstream. Let me share screen with you guys so you can see. This was only uploaded 13 days ago, 486 views, and same perspective from some other participants that I've shown you so far. She confirms that yet again, we are in the early stages, the nascent stages of this digital asset landscape, to be patient, to have a zoomed out perspective, and to understand where we're actually at in the adoption curve of digital assets.
You can address so many issues we see in shadow banking, like that wouldn't even exist on chain. So to me, the benefits are clear. And for me, it's very clear that this is the future of the digital economy. But mainstream adoption, I don't know if it's fair to say it's been slow, because this technology is like 15 years, Bitcoin's 15 years old, right? So we're still, I think, in early days, but I think a lot of people are saying we haven't seen anything, like we haven't seen the type of mainstream adoption we would expect to see. Do you think that is fair for either of you? Do you think it's kind of fair to say mainstream adoption hasn't taken off? You know, is this kind of a typical length for a tech cycle? And then what needs to happen to make the mainstream adoption of various tokenization use cases happen? And how are you guys addressing that?
I think that if you think about the web, and I was involved in the early days of the web is basically right now, maybe like, don't think about the number of years it's been around, but like in its 20s. So outside of its teenage years, moved into its 20s. And there's all this, you've seen all the challenge and opportunity on the web. I feel like we're still in like we're not an infant anymore, but we're in like we're
unruly preteens.
Yeah, we're very we're there. And so I don't think it's crazy that we haven't seen it. I mean, the difference in terms of this tech stack and what happened with the web is that we have the secondary assets, which created its own sort of frenzy. And so it was a lot about, look at this great tech, and then the secondary assets. And there wasn't a lot of UX and UI designers that came to actually make the tech user friendly. We're seeing that now. So you're seeing a lot of really awesome development on making it so that you don't really have to know that you're using blockchain. And I think that's the key to mainstream adoption. You know, we see already Franklin Templeton has a money market fund on Stellar. It's $460 million in that. People are using it to be able to, have their assets on chain and to hold them there. It's all on chain. It took them from 2019 until 2021 or 2022 with the SEC to be able to make that happen, though. So these are things that are challenges with regulation, depending on the country that you're in, to make that go. And so I think that we're in the right spot, but now we just have to focus on those uses that actually are going to take it to the mainstream, which is putting it in the hands of individuals that might not be crypto native, that might not really care. One of the things I used to always say is, does anybody really know when you're using HTTPS? The answer is maybe some of you, but hopefully not all of you. And that's good, because you're using it every day. And that's a really important part of the tech stack. But we've talked so much about tech and not about the uses for so long. And now I think we're getting out of that, oh, it's blockchain, to, oh, it's this really cool piece of technology that can actually, you can use it to be able to get cash on Stellar. You can get cash all over the world through MoneyGram and the relationship we have with MoneyGram. And wallets are doing this every day.
And people don't need to know they're on a blockchain base.
They're on a blockchain. And I think that's a really important part of mainstream.
Yeah. I mean,
so we'll leave it there, right? She just pretty much confirms that we're still in the early stages, that we're finally entering into this new phase of adoption. And yet again, she mentioned the regulatory environment and how those things take time. They take years to unfold. So just be patient, understand the long-term perspective, stay disciplined, and obviously, of course, stay focused oriented. All right, so we're going to go back to the Raoul Pal video clip. So far in this video, if you guys are just now tuning in, we had started off with a CEO of a SEC registered organization confirming that having zero, or at least from her perspective, institutions that have 0% of their portfolio allocated to this space is the wrong answer. I'll play that video clip before we hop off at the end of this, just to full circle it. Then we jumped into confirming from multiple industry leading experts that there is a massive restructuring of our financial system. Then we just finished all of the video clips confirming that we are in the early stages of this technological transformation. So don't think that you're missing out. Don't think that you are too late to the party, because you are far from it. All right. We are at the forefront of this digital transformation. And I encourage you guys to, at a minimum, if you're not going to invest, because again, investing in this space is not for everybody, at least start to educate yourself on what's happening behind the scenes, whether that's through books, whether that's through joining mentorship programs, whether that's through joining private communities like ours, or whether that's just by subscribing to this YouTube or following CYPRX on Twitter. Whatever it is that you attempt to do to educate yourself, start doing that now. You do not want to get left behind, which is now how we're going to transition and end this video call today by showing you guys multiple industry leading experts, including Raoul Pal and his friend here, Dan Taperio, mention that those that don't adopt are most likely going to be the ones that get left behind. So let's just take a second and listen, and then we're going to roll the rest of these video clips from people that have the same perspectives from large organizations and regulated entities.
Just the observation how big it is. I know. It's the same thing when I say to people that, there's $2.5 trillion of value already here. They just can't believe, what's it doing there? I still get questions routinely. Now, they're proclamations from people. There are no use cases. This is all still speculation. Look, those people will be left behind. Yeah, I agree. Those people will be left behind.
I love that. I love that right there. Those people will be left behind. Well, let's confirm Dave Taperio, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Let's confirm his perspective, because some other industry leading experts hold or have held the same exact perspective. So this is the Web3 banking landscape Crypto Valley conference that took place just 6 months ago, only has 142 views. This individual right here goes on to mention same thing that we talked about in previous video breakdowns, that when one organization adopts these new technologies, others will have to adopt as well, or they're not going to remain competitive. So when you think of that on a granular scale, boiled all the way down to the everyday average person, once these organizations that we utilize every single day, like literally, I mean, here in the United States, I can think of two systemically important organizations that everybody in the United States either knows about or has used or currently uses, and that's Walmart and Amazon, right? Well, Walmart definitely 110% is integrating blockchain and artificial intelligence technology, and so is Amazon, right? And so once it boils all the way down to the person individually, obviously, of course, like I mentioned, these large organizations, they know that if they don't adopt, they'll fall behind. It's going to be the same thing with these people, with people. If you don't adopt these technologies, if you think that they're just a scam or that it's not going to be important in the near future, you're dead wrong. You're not doing enough research, and you're being misled by ignorant people that don't have a solid education on what's happening. And it would behoove you, again, to take advantage of opportunities in the now. So listen to what this gentleman says about how it's literally going to be mandatory via all banks in the future that they integrate digital assets into their core infrastructure. Listen to what he says here. And sorry, again, I apologize. Some of these people are a little bit soft-spoken, so you guys might have a hard time hearing this video.
Let's briefly speak about the innovation continuum. I really like this chart because this chart illustrates the way of any innovations in human history. So we can take, firstly, some simple example, like mobile phones, right? So initially it was impossible. Like 30, 40 years ago, it was totally impossible even to think that we will all have such powerful mobile devices in our pockets, right? After that, it became practical. They were heavy, they were big, batteries were just very bad, coverage was very bad. But thanks to guys like Nokia, it became possible, right? After that, it became expected, and now it's 100% required. We can take another example from banking industry. We can speak about cards, of course, but maybe it's better to take an example from, let's say, contactless payments, like Apple Pay, right? Long story short, even like 10 years ago, it was impossible, but now it's required. So any retail-focused bank actually must have now contactless payments, right? And support Apple Pay and Google Pay and these kind of tools. So now, speaking about crypto, I believe that we are here. We are already at the expected phase, right? So customers of traditional banks already expecting to get digital assets, already expected to get an access to crypto, right? And I'm sure that tomorrow it will be absolutely required. And here is a good illustration.
Right. So he pretty much just talks about how at the beginning of the technological adoption phase, everybody's skeptical. Then it becomes, recommended from their clients, and then eventually it becomes required. He believes it's going to be required of these financial institutions in the future for them to offer digital asset or crypto services to their clients, which again, I'm a firm believer of as well. If you look at the backend infrastructure and what previous videos we played, as you guys heard the Chainlink co-founder mentioning that every single bank and large organization right now has a digital asset team. Why do you think that is? You think that that's just random, happening for no reason? No, it's because they know this is happening, right? So again, so should you, all the way boiled down to the average citizen level. And if you're going to knock it, yet again, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress enough, you're most likely going to fall behind. Okay. Here is 2 more video clips of people that have the same exact perspective. This is a video that was uploaded 5 months ago. Laughable, has 43 freaking views. Yet again, CYPRX research team finding and sifting through all these gems for you guys. Do us a favor, if you're watching the recording, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Don't forget that we just released the new CYPRX Research Lab Twitter. If you guys head over to my Twitter page, I reposted one of our latest reports. Lots of juicy things happening in the market behind the scenes. We talk about different institutional reports that have come out, different projects that we're fixated and focused on, DeFi developments happening behind the scenes, ongoing, documents that explain in detail the transformative wave that we are currently living through. Make sure that you guys go check out that report. It is one of the most recent posts on my X profile. So let's just again confirm from some of these people sitting on this panel that these financial institutions aren't going to have a choice to adopt cryptocurrency. They are going to have to, and it is inevitable that this is all going to unfold over the next consecutive couple of years.
Okay. We had Larry Finks and Jamie Dimon and all these chaps for a long time saying that, sorry for my French, that this was all crap, that everybody was fraudster, that, we were going to scam the world with this new asset class. And just a few months ago, they all jump into it, all right? And they're doing very well. It's over $1 billion being added every day into this new asset class, the ETF in Bitcoin. So my question to this signature, and we'll start with Maher, is how do you see traditional institutions adapting to Web3 finance? To be honest, they have no choice. I mean, look at the debate was going on between Jamie Dimon and his own company adapting to Web3 finance. To be honest, they have no choice. I mean, look at the debate was going on between Jamie Dimon and his own adapting to Web3 finance. To be honest, they have no choice. I mean, look at the debate was going on between Jamie Dimon and his own company. Jamie Dimon was last year, even before, was coming and speaking against the cryptocurrencies. His company was unloading billions of cryptocurrencies. So we could not really interpret that. So that's a debacle going on. So eventually, even Larry Fink, I don't think he's being honest about it, to be honest with you. So I think they will definitely have to sit and understand this, how it's going to be done. They're using a program of blockchain themselves because it's benefiting them. They understand it very well. So eventually you will see a good cooperation happening already, for sure. You already started with the blockchain technology. That's the important piece. So all the banks, some of the banks I know of, they already adopted private blockchain. But it's a matter of time they'll bring in the other part of it as well. And this is how the collaboration will happen. But it's a long way to go. It's not an easy adopted a private blockchain. But it's a matter of time they'll bring in blockchain technology. That's the important piece. So all the banks, some of the banks I know of, they already adopted a private blockchain. But it's a matter of time they'll bring in the other part of it as well. And this is how the collaboration will happen. But it's a long way to go. It's not an easy trade to be.
Boom, right? So yet again, just confirming that these financial institutions, they know what's going on. And every single time you read a FUD article on the mainstream, channels, whatever it is that people tap into nowadays, honestly, I don't know. But you can just assume that it's some type of tactic to shake you out because these large organizations, they know what's happening. And they're not stupid, and they are for a fact adopting these new technologies. They're building out the infrastructure. They have back-end teams to help them do this. And again, you don't want to be manipulated into being left behind, right? So last but not least, I just want to play one last video clip. This is another industry-leading expert here. She's sitting on stage just a couple of months ago, only 99 views here. Institutional trading in digital assets, the latest trend, and listen to what she says here.
This will be fine, but in the meantime, of course, you've got these other jurisdictions lobbying, jockeying to try and get the vanguard seat for digital assets, and who wants to be the next digital asset hub?
Yeah, it's competitive.
Yeah.
You're kind of missing out if you don't try and play in the race. So you're kind of missing out if you don't try and play in the race. So
plain and simple, right? You are kind of missing out if you don't play in the race. So to full circle back to how we started off this video breakdown. By the way, I do appreciate all of you all for tuning in. If you're watching this as a recording, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. We do appreciate the love and the support. We played a video clip of a CEO of an organization that is, according to Perplexity AI, regulated by the SEC. And from her perspective, this individual, Zoe Cruz, will play the video clip to end it here. She mentioned that having 0%, or at least from an institutional perspective, having 0% of your portfolio allocated to this space at this moment in time is the wrong answer, right? So take that into consideration next time you come across anybody that's fearful or doubtful in this space. Maybe it's somebody that's attempting to try to sway your opinion that crypto is a scam or that it's going away, right? That's not happening. And if you take it upon yourself to look deeper, peel back the curtains, and actually tap into the perspectives from some of the people that are working on the digital transformation themselves, They themselves are the ones telling you that this is happening, that we are early, that they're restructuring the financial system, and that if you don't participate in some way, shape, or form, whether again that's through education or investment, you will be left behind. So that was my goal here in today's video breakdown. Hopefully I accomplished that, was to show you that that is the perspective from some of the largest organizations in the world on stage today. With that being said, I'll leave it here for you guys. Listen to what she says.
I think digital assets do have some non-correlated returns in a portfolio. And from your perspective, what is the appropriate level of allocation that institutional investors should consider when they're looking at bringing digital assets into a portfolio?
So what I'd like to say is that zero allocation to the space is the wrong answer.
I could literally play that. Take that video clip. If you want to show this to somebody, one of your friends, one of your relatives, anybody that's in your life that's like, crypto's a scam, man, or lady, you shouldn't be involved, take this and shove this one video clip in their face. 0% allocation to this space is the wrong answer. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you all enjoyed today's video breakdown. I cannot stress enough that now is the time to, at a minimum, take it upon yourself to get educated, get involved, start learning about the digital transformation, regardless of what niche you dabble into. Join communities or watch educational YouTube channels that aren't opinionated and biased on one specific project, that are actually opening your eyes and peeling the curtain back to what's happening behind the scenes, like my channel or many others out there, like Mr. Aqua, Mr. Man, and some many other researchers that are, you know, actually in this space to help you guys navigate this digital transformation. With that being said, if you all, as always, want to join our private community and gain access to any of these insightful videos before we release them to the public way in advance, because some of these are months old and we've had these for a while now, just now playing these video clips for you guys publicly, tap in. All of this information is shared in the CYPRX Discord on a daily basis, hundreds of fundamentals that never reach the mainstream eyes. You guys can over to CYPRXtrading.com and join our private team. We'd love to have you guys on board, properly educating individuals and giving them an edge in the market. As always, many blessings to you all. Be cognizant, be aware out there, and I will see you all in the next video breakdown.